This is my most prized possession. Okay, most prized might be a bit of a stretch, but I really like it. If you're a fan of Pokemon, then you can probably just about tell that this is meant to be a Slowpoke. If Slowpoke had been drawn by a crack-addled toddler who had just destroyed a litre of Panda Pop. But that's exactly why I love it so much. If this had just been a perfect replica of Slowpoke, there is very little chance I'd have kept it. The only reason this stands out is because it's hilariously bad. I was thinking about this recently and I realised something. Perfect is boring. When I was a kid, I did a paper round for nearly 5 years. That's tens of thousands of papers delivered over roughly 1,500 days. Many of them done on perfect days with perfect weather at the perfect time.
But I don't remember any of those individual trips around the village. The perfect days don't stand out at all.
The days I remember are the ones where the weather suddenly turned, or I fell off my bike, or the one time I was chased up the entire street by a dog who thought it was a game and bit my foot. Sure, a walk in the perfect conditions is great, but the ones you remember are the ones where you're nearly blown off the edge of a cliff.
Or drag your partner out for a walk in the rain just so you can make a point for a video.
The point I'm trying to make is that nobody remembers perfect. Perfect is boring. The main character in your favourite film isn't memorable because they are perfect, because they make all the right decisions and they never put a foot out of line. The protagonist in your favourite novel isn't flawless, because if they were, they'd be boring. Filmmakers and content creators wear perfectionism like a badge of honour. Hell, even I'm guilty of this. When making videos, we spend hours looking for the perfect music, making sure everything is just right before we get stuff done, which made me realise the next truth about the idea of perfect. Perfect gets in the way. There's nothing wrong with wanting to make something the best you can possibly make it, but waiting for things to be perfect slows you down. I don't want to film today because the conditions aren't perfect. It's not the right time. I need the right camera. I'm not in the right frame of mind. Like I said, I'm guilty of this. I've been saying the phrase, yeah, once the world goes back to normal, for almost a year to describe when I'm going to try things on this channel, but the truth is, I have no idea when that will be. Phrases like, when lockdown is over, or starting on Monday, are way too common in my vernacular, waiting for the perfect time or the perfect conditions to exist before I do something. But there's no such thing as the perfect time. If last year has taught us anything, it's that you can't predict the future and you can't control what happens to you, but you can control how you react to what happens to you, and if that's the one thing we can control, then we better make sure we take control of it. Now, I don't want to be one of those YouTubers who makes you feel you should be working yourself into the ground or make things that everyone struggles with seem easy, because if they were easy, we'd all be doing it by now. I'm just letting you know how I'm approaching the idea of perfect from now on. You've probably heard people say things like, don't let perfect be the enemy of good, or done is better than perfect. And although the people that tend to say this thing are usually pseudo internet gurus who are trying to sell you a course on dropshipping, there's definitely some truth to this sentiment. If you don't do something or create something because you don't think you can make it perfect, then that thing doesn't exist. The idea of perfect has prevented you from putting anything out there. Done is better than perfect. The stupid thing about perfect is the pursuit of it drives people mad. Did you once make the perfect loaf of bread? Well, guess what? Every loaf you make from now on is going to suck, because it's never going to be as good as the time that you made it perfect, and you're always going to be a little unhappy with your efforts. Did you spend months making the perfect epic YouTube video? Well, guess what? It either did well, which now means you're going to spend forever comparing your work to that video, or it did badly, which means you never want to try again. Perfect is subjective. Everyone has a favourite film that they might call perfect, but your favourite film isn't everyone's favourite film. In fact, the thing that you think makes a film perfect might be the exact thing that makes someone else dislike it. You might think the film's slow pace helps set the mood and tension in the film, where someone else might feel like it makes it drag and ultimately boring. I guess what I'm trying to say is that perfect doesn't exist. That might be hard to believe because social media means we are constantly being shown perfect lives with perfect relationships and perfect families. But don't let filtered reality fool you into thinking it's actually reality. That's why I like YouTube. YouTube has never been about perfect. YouTube is a kid reviewing tech in his bedroom, or a guy counting to 100,000 using a crappy webcam, or people getting drunk whilst they're filming. If TV is manufactured pop, then YouTube is the garage band who refuses to turn it down when they're asked to by the disapproving neighbours who aren't used to change. People love YouTube because it's unpolished, so yeah, make things to the best of your ability, but stop wasting your time waiting for the perfect opportunity to make the perfect video, because perfect doesn't exist. And you're already good enough. I think I burnt my arm.